If you've ever loved a Virgo, you'll understand. Loving them isn't the kind of overwhelming feeling that hits you at first sight. It's a bond that grows slowly over time, built through every small detail, every quiet gesture of care you may have forgotten, but they never do. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of intellect, analysis, and that subtle anxiety that creeps in when things don't go according to plan. They're the only Earth sign in the mutable group, making them both grounded and adaptable. Cautious, yet filled with internal contradictions. They don't love to make grand waves. They love to find a space that feels safe enough, understanding enough, where they don't always have to be in control and still get to be fully themselves. Many people see Virgo as nitpicky, perfectionist, or overly rational, but beneath that calm exterior is a heart always on the verge of loving, just afraid. Afraid of getting hurt, of being judged, of not being enough, of being too early or too late. They're constantly revising themselves, not to be perfect, but to avoid burdening others. And if you've ever been the one who made a Virgo quietly flustered because they couldn't stop caring about you, then maybe you've already touched something very deep inside them. So when Virgo falls in love, who are they truly compatible with? Who will be sensitive enough to understand every glance, every shift in their breath? And who will be the one to help them slowly let go of that thorn-covered armor, to be soft without needing to be strong? Virgo and Aries, when the quiet one meets the impulsive soul. This might be one of the most contrasting pairs. Either they'll constantly clash, or they'll end up learning incredible things from each other. Virgo is cautious, observant, and always analyzes every possibility before making a move. Aries, on the other hand, lives by instinct, loves quickly, and dives into emotions like a child eager to try every new experience. From the very first encounter, Virgo might see Aries as a whirlwind, loud, passionate, but impatient and likely to disrupt the careful order they're used to. Aries, meanwhile, sees Virgo as an intriguing mystery, cool yet attentive, not easily won over, yet deeply captivating in the quiet ways they show care. And soon enough, it's exactly those differences that cause friction between them. Virgo needs time and certainty to love. Aries wants to feel emotions immediately. Virgo heals with words. Aries proves love through action. One avoids confrontation, the other doesn't shy away from debate. If they don't learn each other's rhythm, they'll quickly exhaust one another. But if Aries learns to slow down, to listen instead of rushing, and Virgo learns to trust instead of overanalyzing, they might just become upgraded versions of themselves. Aries teaches Virgo that love doesn't always need perfect timing, just the right person. Virgo teaches Aries that love isn't only about passion, but about care and patience. They are different, but if neither tries to fix the other and both have the grace to hold space for one another, this could be a beautiful journey where one learns how to pause and the other learns how to love deeply. Virgo and Taurus, two Earthlines, meet on a foundation of peace. No noise, no drama. The love between Virgo and Taurus arrives like a soft, sunny morning where not many words are needed to feel safe. They're both earth signs, realistic, grounded, and inclined to love through small gestures rather than flowery declarations. One is meticulous about every detail, the other is so steady that nothing can shake them. And so, when they are together, the world seems to slow down, as if all outside urgency no longer matters. Taurus gives Virgo a sense of safety, with their calm, anchored presence that isn't easily swayed by fleeting emotions. Meanwhile, Virgo offers Taurus a rare attentiveness and quiet refinement few can match. Neither needs to perform or pretend. They can simply be themselves, simple yet complete. However, if the relationship becomes too stable, they may forget that love also needs renewal. Taurus can be overly stubborn, reluctant to change. Virgo may easily slip into anxiety, overthinking everything. Without open communication, they could slowly drift apart without even realizing it. But just one shared meal a day, one quiet handhold in a crowded street, or a small question like, "Did you have a rough day today?" can be enough to keep this love alive and rooted deep. Because this is a couple that doesn't need fireworks to know they're in love. They only need a home, someone to trust, and a pace of life calm enough to walk side by side to the very end. Virgo and Gemini, when two minds meet, but head in different directions. This is a unique pairing, as both are ruled by Mercury, yet they express their intellect in completely different ways. Gemini is airy, exploratory, talkative, and connects through instant chemistry. Virgo is inward, meticulously analytical, and loves through quiet attentiveness. One is a flexible river, the other a neatly channeled stream. When they meet, they could create an exciting flow or a chaotic flood if they're out of sync. From the start, Gemini is often drawn to Virgo's cool intelligence. Virgo is intrigued by Gemini's charm and eloquence. They talk a lot, sometimes endlessly, but amidst those seemingly smooth conversations, a quiet gap begins to grow. Virgo craves depth. Gemini seeks novelty. One wants to dig into a subject until they reach the root. The other wants just enough to move on to the next interesting thing. Virgo can grow tired of Gemini's whirlwind changes, feeling like they're loving someone who's here today but mentally elsewhere tomorrow. Gemini may find Virgo too critical, too fixated on non-romantic details. Without enough understanding, they may begin to feel judged or trapped. But if Gemini learns to pause, to see that Virgo's care is real even if not flashy, and Virgo learns to release a bit of control, realizing that change doesn't always mean disloyalty, they could create a love that's unusual but unforgettable. Gemini helps Virgo laugh more, take life less seriously. Virgo helps Gemini slow down and face the feelings they often avoid. And if one day they sit together, not to debate who's right or wrong, but just to ask, "What were you thinking today?" or "What caught your eye out there?" then maybe that love won't need promises. It'll already be enough to make them stay. Virgo and Cancer, where gentleness meets warmth. This might be one of the most tender couples in the entire zodiac, a space where no one is too loud, yet both love deeply. Virgo loves with logic and quiet acts of service. Cancer loves with the heart and a natural instinct to care for the ones they cherish. One shows love through practical actions. The other reaches your heart with the smallest, most delicate gestures. And when they fall in love, it's a silent fusion, gently healing in its quietness. From the very beginning, Virgo may be moved by Cancer's compassionate gaze and soft, soothing energy. Meanwhile, Cancer feels protected beside someone who always seems to have things under control and thinks everything through, like Virgo. They're not rushed, not fiery, but they always find a way to make each other feel safe. Still, differences remain. Virgo may become overly rational, trying to analyze every emotion with logic. Cancer is sensitive, easily hurt when their feelings aren't acknowledged. One asks, "Does this make sense?" while the other just wants to hear, "Are you here for me?" Without clear communication, they could silently hurt each other without even realizing it. But if Virgo learns to let go, to feel instead of always analyzing, and Cancer learns to express rather than expect others to guess, they could build a love that's gentle and rare. Virgo will slowly open up, knowing there's someone patiently waiting to welcome them home. And Cancer will gradually grow stronger, knowing someone is always there to be their steady support. This love is not loud, but if you've ever seen two people quietly brew tea for each other on a rainy afternoon, or exchange a glance that says everything without words, that's Virgo and Cancer. A love that doesn't dazzle, but is warm enough to get through even the coldest day. Virgo and Leo, light through glass. Leo enters people's lives like a radiant beam of light, confident, magnetic, and full of initiative. Virgo, by contrast, is like a clear pane of glass, modest, quiet, yet observant of everything. One longs to be seen. The other prefers working behind the scenes, quietly making everything better. And when they meet, there will be moments that sparkle and moments that feel blinding. From the first encounter, Virgo may be overwhelmed by Leo's powerful energy, someone who dares to love, express, and chase what they desire. Meanwhile, Leo is captivated by Virgo's calm, refined, and mysterious presence, someone who makes them work to uncover what's hidden beneath the surface. But those very differences are also where misunderstanding begins. Leo wants admiration and craves validation from the one they love most. Virgo expresses affection through quiet acts, not with big gestures or poetic words. One longs to hear praise, the other believes love doesn't need to be said out loud. And so, they may love deeply, yet feel lonely if they can't find a language that bridges their hearts. If Virgo learns to express affection more clearly, through words, a look, or a spontaneous embrace, Leo will feel seen and re-energized. In turn, if Leo starts noticing the little things Virgo does in silence, they'll realize not all love needs to shine. Some loves arrive like sunlight, not blinding, but warm enough to carry you through the day. When they finally see each other, not through stage lights or success metrics, but simply as two souls doing their best, this love becomes whole. One is the light, the other is the one who helps that light stay steady. And if they walk together long enough, they'll realize there's no light more beautiful than the one shining through clear glass, where both can be fully themselves, no spotlight required. Virgo and Virgo when mirror meets mirror. Loving someone just like yourself isn't always easy, because you don't just see what you admire, you also confront the very limitations you try to hide. When two Virgos come together, it's a meeting of two meticulous, devoted souls. But it's also a quiet collision of insecurities, both hidden behind composed, capable faces. They understand each other at a glance, by the way one straightens a table or exhales a quiet sigh. No need for grand words or dramatic displays, they simply know. But because they're so alike, both tend to conceal their emotions, make silent sacrifices, and avoid being a burden. The relationship can become so focused on being okay that it forgets how to feel alive. Together, two Virgos can build a love rooted in discipline. Each day on schedule, each task completed, every duty honored. But without emotion, without surprise, without the right softness at the right time, love might start to feel more like a checklist than a connection. Yet if one of them finds the courage to say, "I feel a little off today," or gently asks, "Can you hold me?" even if there's no reason, the other will be the first to respond. Because no one understands a Virgo better than another Virgo. They can heal each other, not with loud declarations, but with a warm cup of tea, a hand resting quietly on a shoulder, or the simple act of showing up at just the right moment. This love isn't glamorous, it isn't dramatic, but if they learn to be soft with themselves and offer grace to one another, it will be a love as enduring as a well-kept ritual. Quiet, but irreplaceable. Virgo and Libra, where order meets harmony. This is a couple that meets right on the border between logic and aesthetics. Virgo lives in practicality, drawn to tidiness, precision, and carefully crafted plans. Libra leans into feeling, charmed by beauty, balance, and often letting things unfold on their own. One needs clarity, the other flows between choices. They're like a minimalist building meeting a vividly colored painting, seemingly contradictory yet capable of elevating each other if they find the right harmony. From the very beginning, Virgo may be drawn to Libra's subtle charm, refined grace, and effortless social connection. Libra, in turn, feels grounded beside someone as thoughtful and self-assured as Virgo. But as the relationship deepens, they begin to realize their life rhythms move at different speeds. Virgo doesn't always understand why Libra takes so long to make what seems like a simple decision. Libra finds Virgo overly rigid, overly critical, and too tightly wound. One seeks resolution, the other prefers open-endedness. Without honest communication, tiny differences may quietly pile up until they feel miles apart. But if Libra becomes more proactive, not out of pressure but out of care, and Virgo softens their grip, learning that beauty often lives in imperfection, they'll begin to meet each other in the middle. Libra will bring softness and ease that helps Virgo breathe. Virgo will offer Libra a strong anchor when choices feel too scattered. This isn't a love-at-first-sight kind of story. It's a symphony, one that needs adjusting, retuning, and care. But when they find their melody, it becomes something lasting, something graceful, something real. Virgo and Scorpio, where the unspoken touches the deepest parts. This is one of the most intense and quietly profound couples in the Zodiac. Neither Virgo nor Scorpio wears their heart on their sleeve. They observe more than they express, hold more than they reveal. One moves through logic and analysis, the other through intuition and emotional depth. And when they meet, something unspoken connects them, like a silent recognition of something sacred within each other. Virgo is drawn to Scorpio's depth, mystery, and magnetic intensity. Someone who doesn't open easily but is fiercely loyal when they do. Scorpio in turn sees in Virgo a trustworthy, sincere, and steady soul. Someone who doesn't offer empty promises but quietly shows up for love in the ways that matter most. They don't need grand displays. Just one prolonged glance can say everything. Yet the challenge is this: both hide pain exceptionally well. Virgo fears being a burden. Scorpio fears exposing wounds too deep to bear. They might love deeply but still not know how to show it. Without emotional communication, their silence may look like peace, but feel like distance. But if one dares to open the door, the other will walk through with no judgment. Virgo helps Scorpio bring clarity to emotional storms. Scorpio helps Virgo venture into the inner world where not everything needs to be explained, only felt and healed. This love isn't for the faint of heart, but if they dare to look at each other fully with trust instead of fear, they'll create a bond few will ever understand. Quiet, invisible, yet steady as an underground stream. Hidden and absolutely unshakable. Virgo and Sagittarius, two perspectives, one sky. This pairing represents two completely different approaches to life. Virgo sees things up close, notices every detail, and takes careful, calculated steps. Sagittarius sees from a distance. They think big, move fast, and push boundaries wide open. One lives for what's real and verifiable, the other lives for belief, experience, and freedom, and when they journey together, it could become chaos or awakening. Virgo is drawn to Sagittarius's optimism, sincerity, and unfiltered zest for life. Sagittarius, in return, finds in Virgo a kind of thoughtful intelligence and emotional steadiness they rarely stop to notice. But the closer they get, the more they realize they speak in entirely different languages. Sagittarius can't understand why Virgo overthinks even small decisions. Virgo finds Sagittarius reckless, sometimes shallow, and allergic to responsibility. One asks, "What's the practical value here?" The other answers, "If it feels true to me, that's enough." If no bridge is built, they'll talk past each other endlessly. But if Sagittarius learns to slow down, to see that structure doesn't confine freedom, it sustains it, and Virgo learns to look up, to realize that not all uncertainty is danger, some of it is destiny, they'll unlock an entirely new way of living. Sagittarius helps Virgo shed unnecessary control. Virgo helps Sagittarius anchor their vision into something real. This love is a map and an adventure. They need each other, not just to stay on course, but to grow. One learns to look closer, the other to see farther. And if they walk together long enough, the journey becomes the reward. Virgo and Capricorn, safety that needs no words. This is one of the quietest couples, yet also one of the deepest. Virgo and Capricorn are both earth signs, practical, responsible, and not easily swayed by emotion. They love through action, patience, and long-term plans that ask for no applause. One silently clears the path, the other quietly bears the load. And both understand, love isn't about indulging a moment. It's about building something that lasts. Virgo is captivated by Capricorn's calm, grounded presence and steady direction. Someone who doesn't say much, but always knows what they're doing. Capricorn, in turn, appreciates Virgo's precision, dedication, and attention to detail. Someone they trust instinctively even before a word is spoken. They don't meet in a spark of passion, but in the quiet certainty of shared understanding. Still, since both are used to carrying things alone, this relationship can become too fine, smooth on the surface, yet missing emotional depth. They may manage everything together with quiet grace, but forget to ask, "How are you really?" Or is something weighing on you? If Virgo learns to soften, to admit they're tired sometimes, and if Capricorn learns to speak up to let someone else carry part of the burden, they'll realize they're not just perfect partners, they're each other's safest place. Virgo helps Capricorn open up emotionally. Capricorn helps Virgo stop worrying and see their true worth. This isn't a flashy love. It isn't loud, but it's like a well-built home standing in the middle of a storm. No promises needed, no proof required, just two people showing up every single day with quiet strength that says, "I'm here, and I always will be." Virgo and Aquarius, between structure and the future. This is a couple that seems to live in two different dimensions, one rooted in the present, the other soaring into the future. Virgo lives in the now, guided by lists, plans, and step-by-step thinking. Aquarius lives ahead of time, driven by radical ideas, sudden shifts, and dreams few dare to dream. One seeks structure, the other seeks freedom. And when they come together, the first feeling they share is uncertainty. At first, Virgo may be intrigued by Aquarius's originality, visionary mind, and humanitarian ideals. Meanwhile, Aquarius finds Virgo truly rare, someone who can take their ideas and shape them into something real. But when day-to-day life begins, their differences become undeniable. Virgo sees Aquarius as unpredictable, emotionally detached, and hard to follow. Aquarius sees Virgo as rigid, overly cautious, and always judging. One asks, "What's the plan?" The other replies, "Let's see where the wind takes us." If they don't build a shared language, the relationship becomes a tug of war. Between a compass and the wind, neither is wrong, but they won't move forward unless they stop pulling in opposite directions. However, if Aquarius learns to value structure, not as confinement, but as scaffolding for their dreams, and Virgo learns to let go a little, to see that spontaneity doesn't always mean chaos, they could open an entirely new world. Aquarius helps Virgo think bigger, live lighter. Virgo helps Aquarius ground their vision into something lasting. This love requires space, respect, and trust. Trust not to change one another, but to support each other's way of being. If they succeed, they'll become a rare match. One looks up, the other holds steady, and together they build a future no one else even thought possible. Virgo and Pisces, between reality and dream. If Virgo is the one who checks every number, every fine print before committing to love, Pisces is the one who dives in head first, on a whisper of feeling, simply because they believe. One needs logic to feel safe, one needs emotion to feel alive. And when they meet, it's not an instant fit, it's a deep challenge, one that could break them or heal them in ways they never imagined. Virgo is drawn to Pisces' softness, compassion, and ethereal presence. Someone who makes them quietly wonder, how can anyone be this gentle? Pisces, in turn, feels protected by Virgo, someone who notices what they never had words for. But soon their contrast begins to show. Virgo needs boundaries, Pisces dissolves into feel. One seeks certainty, the other just needs to feel enough to believe. If left unbalanced, Virgo may see Pisces as directionless, fragile, and too vague to hold. Pisces may find Virgo too sharp, too cold, and unable to understand the heart. One loves through logic, the other through intuition. And if they keep trying to mold the other into themselves, they'll lose the very magic that brought them close. But if Pisces learns to stay a little separate, to not dissolve completely into love, and Virgo learns to loosen their grip, to listen without needing facts or reasons, they'll discover a rare love, one that honors boundaries yet is full of compassion. Virgo anchors Pisces in a chaotic world. Pisces softens Virgo, reminding them of the emotions they've long pushed away. This love is the space between the known and the dreamed, between the lines, the lists, and the wild, wordless longings. If both are patient, not to change, but to understand, they'll build something rare, something solid enough to stand in, soft enough to breathe in, a love that feels not just safe, but sacred. When you love a Virgo, don't expect grand gestures or sweet daily promises. They won't say "I love you" every day, but they'll remember how you take your tea, the side you sleep on, and the quiet in your voice after a long meeting. Virgo's love doesn't arrive like lightning. It shows up in the smallest things you might not even notice, unless you're listening with your heart. They love with patience. They express it through responsibility. They protect through silence. And only if you're gentle enough to see what's not being said will you understand how deeply, how truly, how lastingly you are being loved. If you're a Virgo listening to this right now, remember, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to always be right, always be enough, always be ready. There is someone, somewhere, who needs exactly what you thought were flaws. So allow yourself to soften, to pause, to hear the things you've long tuned out while tending to everyone else. And if you're loving a Virgo, stay quietly beside them. Treasure every silent gesture, every time they ask, "Did you eat yet?" as their way of saying, "I missed you." Don't push them to speak their heart. Just be present, be gentle, be patient. That love will grow like a garden, not needing blazing sun, just quiet daily care. And if this video resonates with you, leave a comment. Maybe it's something you've never dared to say out loud, or a memory you've carried for years with no one to hear it. Whatever it is, your story might be the light someone else needs to feel a little less alone. To the Virgos who are loving, have loved, and will love, you are not as quiet as you think. You are simply loving in the way of someone who always moves in silence, but never ever stops loving. See you in the next video.